Good evening and welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 115. I'm Ron.
I'm Shane.
And we are going to talk slot cars. Again, welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 115. You can find us on YouTube. The channel is Slot Racer. 115 episodes up now, some how-to videos and some special episodes mixed in there. Facebook, Between the Lanes is the page. Race results for pretty much all, these are all from last weekend. I didn't have to catch anything up. So the winning reports, NorCal Retro was at Motown Raceway in Northern California last weekend. A light turnout, but the Can-Am winner was Herman James, Randy Kyle in second, and Mike Andrews was third. And then we had the Rocky Mountain Retro Group in action at Southern Slot Cars in Pueblo, Colorado. Stock Cars was won by Matt Sheldon. Rowdy was second. Paul Muir was third. And same thing in F1. Matt Sheldon was the winner. Rowdy was second. Paul Muir was third. And then in Can-Am, it was Matt Sheldon pulling off the sweep by winning Can-Am. Alan Wilkinson was second. A.J. Hoyt was third. Retro Tokyo in Japan, Cheerio Speedway. Can-Am, Tibu was your winner. Oktani was second. Ed Shore, all the way from the United States, was third. In the GTC Coupe class, Tibu was the winner. Yuji was second. Haruki was third. And then Can-Am Plus, Tibu wins again, pulls off the sweep. Yuji second, and Ed Shore was third in Can-Am Plus as well as Can-Am. So good job to Ed Shore for going over there and representing the U.S. pretty good there in Tokyo. Buckeye Retro Series was in action at Downriver Speedway, Lincoln Park, Michigan, a.k.a. Detroit area. Can-Am was won by myself, Ron Hirschman. Frank Ulbrich Jr. was second. Eric Shirey was third. Formula One was won by Eric. I was second, and Richard T. wound up third. In the Retro Flexi class, Frank was the winner. I was second, and Eric Shirey was third. Mad Fast Series was in action at Archdale, and DTM was won by Big Money Carl Burrow. Guy Spalding second, Timmy Bottoms third. Scale NASCAR, Matt Ashby was the winner. Carl was second, and Timmy was third. In the truck class, Timmy Bottoms was the winner. Guy Spalding second. Jimmy Johnson and his Halloween mask there was third. And then in GTP, Timmy Bottoms won again with Guy Spalding second again, and Bobby B was in third. What happened to him in the other classes? Did he race the other classes?
I think he only raced, I can't remember if he raced all of them or if he just raced the two.
Okay.
Archdale's kind of a Achilles tendon on him.
Okay.
I guess I said it right. It's give or take.
The Martinsville 500 race was at CF Raceway in Fremont, Ohio. And your winner was Guy Elmo Valance with Denny Murray second, and John Notstein was third. I can't tell. What's a grand? A $50 bill? Looks like Elmo won $50.
Yeah.
It's hard cash for the Elmo.
It looks like a 50, yeah.
Yeah. And then they had the Dick Trickle Memorial Race at Scale Model Speedway up in Minnesota. That tall guy, Brandon Schultz, was the winner. Bill Woodworth was second, and Scott Schultz was third. And for those who may know this or may not know this, Bill Woodward's the guy who puts together the National Weekly Points series that we see on Facebook. So I think they said they raised $375 for whatever cause they were raising money for. Yuska was at Pro Slot Raceway in Hartford, Michigan. Production 124th was won by Jeff Strauss. Dennis Clark was second, and Bill Tibinick was third. 4.5 was won by Kurt Vincent. Jeff Strauss second, Bill Tibinick third. The IndyCar class, Jeff Strauss was the winner. Jim Kreider second, Bill Tibinick third. And then in Can-Am, Kurt Vincent was the winner, Jeff Strauss second, and Jim Kreider was third in that. Midwest Spec Series was at Route 66 over in Illinois. And in the Bombers class, Jason Plummer was the winner, Toby Kindig second, Ed Riddle was third. That was Jason's like 7th or 8th win in a row in that class. We'll be putting a bounty on him pretty soon.
Yeah.
Dirt late models, Toby Kindig was the winner, Randy Lynn second, Ed Riddle third. The Legends Womp class, which is a new class for them this year, Jason Plummer was the inaugural winner, Randy Lynn second, Ed Riddle third. And then Spec Indy, Randy Lynn was the winner, Ed Riddle was second, Toby Kindig was third. Oh, I went one too many. And GTP Phoenix, Dave Fugate was your winner, Toby Kindig second, Randy Lynn was third, and all classes were ran on the oval track there at Route 66. Because that's like the only track they have there. So, and then UK Retro Racing Association was in action at Rockingham. It was their final race of their series in the saloon class. Steve Taylor was your winner, Mike Thompson second, and Murray Walker was third. In F1, Murray Walker was the winner. Steve Taylor was second. Steve Kempson, who sent me these results, was third. Thank you, Steve. And then in Can-Am, Murray Walker again was the winner. Steve Taylor second. Gavin Wills, first race since the Israel Worlds, they told me. He was third. And then in the combined Tottenham Retro Sports class, Steve Taylor was the winner, Mike Thompson second, Gavin Wills third. Fourth was first-time retro racer Paul Harwood. I guess Murray was leading and lost a gear in the final 30 seconds, and he dropped to fifth in that one. And then Murray wound up the overall winner of the day with the best overall finish, and he was also crowned as the 2019 UKRRA champion, and he is being awarded that fine cup by a longtime UK racer, Mick Kerr. So, I had a lot of fun over there in the UK racing. Chicken winner. Yeah. I'm dropping my pin there. Winner, chicken dinner. And
Sunday.
Ta-da. So this Sunday, we have the OCC at Washington. Gator Retro Racing is in action in Florida. Penn Jersey is at Trains and Lanes. The Northeast Nats Wing Car Race is at Port Jeff. AWRA is at Thunder Road, and it's also Texas Retro, the Texas Two-Step. That's their big retro race of the year. That's at Dallas Slot Cars. The first weekend in November, we got the Flexi Flats at Mid-America Naperville. NorCal Racing Association's in action. AWRA is at Concord. The weekend of the 9th, we have Midwest Spec Series. Mad Fast is at Concord. The Fall Brawl starts at Speed Zone for retro cars. Florida Slot Car Series is at P1. Buckeye Retro Series is at HMS on the orange track. And I got to back up to the weekend before. Same weekend as the Flexi Flats, NorCal, and AWRA at Concord. The Ohio Oval Series kicks off their season at Fast Tracks. November 16th, Mid-South is at Concord. F2000 is at the Alpha, Gator Retro Racing Region. USCA will be at Mid-America Bloomington for their annual nationals. Penn Jersey is at, I think, Speed Zone. And Penn Ohio Retro Group is at Washington, Pennsylvania. The weekend before Thanksgiving, OCC is at Downriver. ORS is at HMS. Retro East is in action. The CIS Series is in action at Mid-America Bloomington, I believe. And then Thanksgiving weekend, the only thing I got on my calendar is the Shinoda Reunion Race up at Downriver in Lincoln Park, Michigan. Mach 1 Raceway in Sprout Spring, Virginia. I've talked to this guy a few times on Facebook prior to his opening, but they are now open. They have an oval track that they've been racing on the last couple of weeks. I've seen some things on Facebook. And they also have the old Girding King track from Mimi's in Maryland. Gaithersburg. It's the old Gaithersburg King track that we had. I think the last Nats there was 2007. Wing car Nats, but they have that track, and they are in the process of doing lots of filling and sanding and getting that thing baby butt smooth, I guess. So good luck to them, and glad to see they're up and running finally. On the move. So last week we seen that Randy McNulty was headed north to Ohio, and we think that he bought the old Bristolville flat track and oval track. Not 100% confirmed, but we think that's what happened. So a couple more tracks headed down in North Carolina, excuse me. And the old Route 93 King track. So the Bristolville track, when it closed, Route 93 bought those tracks. And then when they had them in storage along with the Route 93 tracks. So she has, in the last few weeks, decided to sell everything. So the Bristolville Oval and Road Course, we think, is now in North Carolina. And the King track, the American Blue King track, is at Speedgate in Warren, Ohio, and it's being worked on as we speak. So we'll keep you updated on those. New stuff. Okay, so Mid-America had announced a few months back that they were coming out with some new FK motors, and one of the motors is the Eagle, which is similar to Hawk 7 Performance. And then there's the Retro Eagle, which is the same performance as the Retro Hawk motor. There's a 18,000 RPM. I guess these would be rental car motors, or this would be more like the Mini Brute motors. 18,000. No.
You put them in Womp Womps.
Yeah. I know he said somebody's submitting them to the AWRA and stuff. So there's an 18,000 RPM motor, and then there's a 25,000 RPM motor. So maybe the 25,000 is more like the Mini Brute, and 18,000 is a rental car motor. And I guess the big feature on these motors, I forgot. And the Mockingbird, the new drag motor, which is faster than a Phoenix, but
hadn't he already had the Mockingbird out, though?
Well, they've been playing with them for a while, testing, and
gotcha.
So they finally have finalized the production version. So on all these new motors, the big feature is at the end of the motor where you screw it to your chassis. We now have 4 tapped screws versus 2 tapped horizontal screws and 1 bottom screw that would require a sheet metal screw. And there was never a hole in the top of the motor for brackets, like in flexi cars or maybe some of the drag cars or drag chassis kits. So now you have 2 screwing options, and they're all machine threaded. So no sheet metal screws, no stripping out the screw. Well, you can strip these out if you don't use the right screw or cross thread them, but the 2 horizontal screws are just like everybody else's screws in their motors. They're a fine thread and all that stuff. So now we've got 2 vertical screws that are threaded too. So it's a welcome improvement. And then Mid-America also has, they're doing the weighted guide thing. And I think the first batch of guides they did was all the Pampa guides, which is the non-tapered kind of thick blade. And now they have them available with the tapered guide, weighted, or the canoe guide as I call it. But so you have 2 options. You can go with tapered, or you can go with the Pampa guide. I can't say one's better or faster than the other when it comes to the HP guides. I don't know. I mean, one time I did some. I had like 5 cars. They all had the tapered guide. I ran them, and then I put on a Pampa guide, and only 1 car went faster, like a half a tenth faster with the Pampa guide than it did the tapered guide. Oh, the other cars ran the same speed with either guide on it. So
yeah,
go figure. But a lot of people do like the tapered guide. and I still see a lot of them being used. So those are now available, weighted from Mid-America, Naperville. And we're going to give away a couple of motors here in a little bit. Mazzetti announced this week the release of the Avenger X chassis, which is designed for flat tracks. It only comes with metal pans. You cannot interchange the pans from the older Striker, Defender, Avenger series. And I don't think this chassis will work on those either. Might, but I don't know that for sure. But this chassis, primarily designed for flat track racing. It's a little bit meatier, more material, more weight, rear biased. Underneath the, can't really see it in this picture. I should have had a picture of the center section, but this area here, there's just more metal back there compared to the Avenger, which pretty much comes straight back. So guys have tested them, so they're pretty fast. I don't know. Haven't had one in my hands. The Striker 2 center section also released. The difference between this and the original Striker, we now have a little lightning hole up here where the original Striker didn't. And I think I'll call them side stops. I think they've been widened out to reduce some of the
Side play.
Yeah, back and forth. And then the Defender 4.5 inch, new center sections out. This has had some tweaks to the guide tongue area of the car and to the front pan forks, because those were sometimes really hard to get your pan up in there and then have any movement. So the tooling was kind of retweaked, and just a couple of minor cosmetic type things to make things a little easier for assembly, and clearances are a little bit more, and get a little more guide flag turning with tweaks to the guide tongue area. So, and then there's 2 new bat pans. This is a steel pan that has uprights. None of the other Mazzetti, because he kind of phased out all the upright pans.
Right.
But I guess due to popular demand or complaints or whatever.
Rules.
He's brought back, rules maybe some places.
Yeah.
He's brought out a steel pan with uprights. It has 2 axle holes. The lower set would be for 1/2 inch fronts. The upper set would be for 5/8 fronts for places that still require front axles and wheels, tires. And then there's also a new pan for the Striker, Defender, Avenger that has uprights to take the really cool Mazzetti bushing. And he says these are for retro-sized fronts, so I guess this would be for like 750 diameter fronts to be used on a flexi car, which I don't know where that's required or whatever, but just another option.
Right.
And then the GT12 chassis kit has been updated. Did you read the description on that? Like, it's to keep the...
Yeah, it said like the, I guess the where the guide tweaks, it was dragging.
Yeah, I ran the car on a bank track and didn't see that to be a problem, but
yeah, because I was gonna say the one that I built, the guy ran. I don't recall.
Right.
I don't know.
So anyway, that's been updated just to limit the down movement of the center section, I guess. So, and I look at this kit, and I didn't really compare it to another picture, but I'm like, I don't see where the difference is. But maybe it's
I looked at it, but then it's like I'm like you. It's like
maybe it's in that little piece there that locks the tongue to the center section. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I guess I'd have to get my car out and look at it to make sure, but I didn't have a problem with the old car. And
yeah, I still have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. But we're going to give away a couple of Mid-America motors and go from there. So I guess we'll give them away. So he said to give out one 18,000 RPM motor and one 25,000 motor this week. So should we draw for the 18 or the 25 first?
Let's do 25.
All right. For a free brand new Mid-America 25,000 RPM motor. And I dropped it.
They're going to be mad.
The winner is Donald Gunn.
Donald Gunn.
So 25,000.
If you want to save on shipping, I could pick it up in a week.
Well, that would save Roger.
Yeah.
The 18,000 motor, RPM motor. Mid-America 18,000 K motor. Caught it. It goes to Wayne Walker. So Wayne Walker, contact, and same with Donald Gunn. Contact Mid-America Naperville for your prizes, or your prize. 18K motor. All right. I'll let
So my name wrote down for the tires.
Somewhere here, yeah.
All right. I'm
You never
cashing
got
it
'em?
in a week. Nah, I'm just
you're
going to
cashing.
wait. Yeah, I'll just wait when I get there and be like, hey, I need a set of tires to practice with.
So you can't pick up Wayne Walker's motor while you're there?
I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when you first said
Maybe
Wayne, I was
do.
thinking Wayne Little. Yeah, maybe I do too. I don't recall.
I don't recall either. All right. So there's our happy winners. So Shane has sent all his stuff off to Chicago. He's ready to go race at the Flexi Flats.
Yep. I relax until then. I got some stuff here. I guess I kind of got everything ready. Because I was like, whenever I come back from the Flexi Flats, I have a week, and then I'm going to race the Mad Fast race.
Right.
It's like I kind of need to have that stuff ready because that's a quick turnaround. Well, we weren't going to race Mad Fast, but I'm gonna be up there anyway because that's the same weekend they had the North-South shootout at Hickory.
Oh, okay. Real
big
race.
cars. So I was just like, well, I might as well go ahead and race slot cars to kill some time, you know?
Yeah, they got like 3 weeks in a row at Slot Car Track Concord with
they got
AWRA and Mad Fast and Mid South.
Yep, and then I'll turn around and go back for the Mid South race.
Okay, so you're going to be there 2 weekends in a row.
Yep,
that's the game plan.
That is the game plan, and everything's ready. The
And
elves have been busy.
Walker couldn't be on the show because he's doing his online racing thing. He makes it sound like he's the commissioner of the league or something.
Never know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I could never get into video games.
I mean, yeah.
Can't do it.
No. I get into it for about maybe a month, and then it's like, nah, I'm good. The only one that I really got into that I religiously played was I used to have a Wii, and they have Wii bowling.
Right.
I used to do that all the time. I don't know what it was, but I just enjoyed playing it. So other than that, same thing.
So at the Mad Fast race, I guess they wound up. Everybody ran Phoenix Motors in all the classes. No.
I think they allowed FK motors to be ran because there was kind of a toss-up between Phoenix and FK.
Okay, but wasn't that series originally set up Phoenix Motors in all the classes?
Yes.
Okay, and for this race, because the Phoenix Motors are, too fast for some of the classes, or I guess bodies.
Well, it had been rumored that the track owner actually said if the Phoenix Motors were to be ran here, he wouldn't run it.
Oh.
Because I guess the last Mad Fast race, a 4.5-inch car, can't remember if it was truck or NASCAR, I guess caught a rider and almost went through the front windshield of his building. Because where the donut's set up, it's probably the donut to the window is easily, 5 foot.
Sounds like they need a safety net.
Yeah. So.
And they didn't get monster trophies, did they?
I don't think they did because I think their trophies are just a normal
Beer
big
mugs.
beer mug with the sticker on it, which is cool. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beast. Isn't that what they call him? The Beast?
Archie.
Archie.
The Beast is the track.
Track, right.
You got the Beast, and you got Son of the Beast, which is their oval.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'll be racing there in December. I haven't raced there in a while. I was talking to Bobby about that today. I was like, I kind of feel bad because I don't want Tim to think I got a problem with him. I was like, it's just the schedules haven't worked.
Yeah, so what's there? It was Mid-South there in December?
There's supposedly a race in the works, a money race.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I have so much time at the end of, I get 5 weeks a year vacation, and it's use it or lose it. So I had some time. So I was like, well, I got this week off. If the race is within this week, I'll go because I'm not going to do anything anyway.
Right.
And it was kind of during that week. So it's like, yeah, I'll go race. So.
Cool.
Yeah, because I don't think we're having – Bobby was laughing today because he was like, no one wanted to have a Mid-South race in December. Be it all the Mid-South guys are probably going to end up going to this race.
Right.
And I'm just like, whatever, So
cool.
I told him, I was like, I could race if there was a race, or I could not race. I was like, because it's either or. It don't matter to me.
Right.
If I had the time off and there wasn't a race, I would still be taking the time off, just sitting here doing nothing, So now I have something to do. So
Gotcha.
I think the game plan is I want to say I have that whole week off. First of the week, go to the mountains. Think about going to Asheville. And then from Asheville, go to Archdale for the race. So
sounds like you have a plan.
Well, at least I do for now. That's subject to change in 5 minutes.
Yep. I'm starting to get ready for the Flexi Flats, and then I should say the FK Flexi Flats.
I just keep calling it Flexi Flats because that's what everyone knows it as,
Yep. And then the following weekend will be turn and burn and go to the retro race on the orange track at HMS.
Yeah, I thought you were coming down here. I was like, you're coming down here to turn and burn?
No. So, looking forward to that for sure. And I think
you're going with Eric, right?
Where?
I remember last time I spoke with Eric.
We talked about going. We talked about me going to his place, then riding with him over to the OCC race at Washington, Pennsylvania. But I have to take a weekend off and get some stuff caught up, done.
That's like with me. Once I looked at the schedule, it was like Chicago, then Mad Fast, then Mid South. It's like, yeah, I kind of need to get everything ready.
Right.
Whenever I get back during the week, it's not so hectic. So.
Yep. So yeah, I just have certain projects I need to get done. And I'm like, I'm like on a sabbatical and working on racing cars and going racing until I get these things done because I need to get them done.
Right. Yeah, it's like with me, I guess the thing that helped me out a lot is, Flexi Flats, flat track, obviously, and then Mad Fast. The 2 races I'm going to race are on Randy's flat track.
Right.
So it's like, all right, Saturday after we get done racing, hang out at the track, clean the cars up, get them ready at the track, package it up, ship it back to Charleston.
Right. Right.
And then the following week, they're kind of somewhat already set up and dialed in for a flat track,
Yeah, because see, up here right now, it's kind of like flat track city because you got OCC at Washington, Pennsylvania this weekend on the flat track, and then you got the Flexi FK race.
Right.
And then in my case, the BRS race on the orange. I mean, it's not really a flat track, but you got the S's and stuff, so it's kind of like,
right.
And then the following weekend's the USCA Nats at Mid-America Bloomington, and they're going to run 4.5 on the oval there, but they're going to run the production Indy and retro on the old Midwest Monster.
That'd be fun.
So yeah, if you're into flat track racing. And then the following weekend in America, Bloomington, would be the CIS race.
Right.
And it's kind of funny because they took a poll, and the majority of those guys wanted to run everything on the hill climb except for the hard bodies. So when you go there for the CIS race, you'll run your Can-Am and your 4.5 and your LMPs now. on the fast track, and then the hard bodies are going to run on the flat track. So I guess about 3 or 4 weeks of flat track racing, and then it flips back to
bank track.
Fast tracks, yeah, bank tracks.
Yeah, because like me and Bobby had talked, because we were obviously going to Hickory for the big car race. And I told him, I was like, dude, they got a race at Randy's on the flat track, And he's like, what is it? I was like, they're going to run DTM and GTP on the flat track. And like the last time we ran GTP on that track, it was pretty fun. High down.
Yeah, GTP would be fun on that track. I would agree.
So I was just like, yeah. And then I kind of like the production. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right. So time allowing, we're going to race. I'm going to race DTM and GTP. I'm not. Bobby mentioned possibly running 4.5 inch, but depending on if things move along quickly or whatnot.
Right.
I think from Concord to Hickory's about 45 minutes to an hour. So
right.
If we only have time to run DTM, then we'll run DTM and kind of hang out and all that stuff.
Right.
So, yep. Something to do.
Okay.
And then for Mid-South, we'll run L&P on the flat track.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, I can't, we had a good race at Downriver. We had like 24 Can-Ams and 20 F1s and 17 of the Retro Flexies. The Retro Flexies kind of amaze me how well they handle and go around with the Retro Pro bodies versus a GTP body. Because
it's almost like running an old Group 10 body, though, if you think about it.
It's less than an old Group 10 body, even.
Is it? I guess because you don't have the side dams.
The side dams on the things are like not even 1/4 of an inch.
Right.
Okay, but
and they have spoiler height and everything. You have to.
You can add a 1/2 inch rear spoiler, and that's it.
So does that measure from the body up? You're allowed a 1/2 inch?
No, just a 1/2 inch. Yeah, I mean, what you add on can only be a 1/2 inch tall.
Gotcha.
There's no rule on how high the back of the body could be.
Oh, so you can jack it way up?
Yeah, but my car actually in practice went faster with the body a little lower than it did.
Had it trimmed out?
Yeah. So
yeah.
So when we had the Flexi Palooza there, we did qualify fastest lap in GTP. I think fastest time was like 3.4s or something.
I think Frank TQ'd, right? If I remember correctly.
He probably did.
Yeah.
But I think they only went 3.4s. But
I don't remember.
Even if we went 3.3s,
mm-hmm.
I mean, Frank qualified 3.37, and I went 3.38 with those Retro Pro bodies.
Right.
And it's kind of
that with the Pro Slot Scorpion motor or FK?
No Scorpion motor. You could run either R.
Or either.
You got to run 11-tooth pinion and.
Right. Basically the same rules as FNRS, just different body.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just amazing how fast it. And that was kind of the same deal the month before at Marks. Like wow, these things.
Right.
Because in practice, I ran like 7 cars or something that had GTP body.
Yeah, because I remember you said you had,
Then I put that body on expecting to lose a 10th or something, and
right,
this body's just as fast.
Right.
So, so the flexi car race was pretty good. I mean, me and Frankie ran kind of heads up the first couple of heats, and then he pulled away, and just wasn't gonna catch him. I mean, like, he gets around the track so good. I mean, he's I'm not taking anything away from him, or it's just like he knows everywhere you can just go and you can't go, and like he just gets around the track so good, So beating Frankie there is kind of like trying to beat Willie at Mark's Model World. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's almost
Walker at Concord. What I mean?
Right? But that's part of the challenge of going there and racing. Is trying to beat them guys.
Right.
They're so good on their tracks. Beat them there, and they still go to other tracks and run good too. So it just makes for good racing. And then in F1, Frankie he had problems on purple. He had problems on Purple Lane and Can-Am, and they had problems on purple and F1 between the dead man and the finger. So like in the Can-Am race, we were, me and him, we were running door handle for first 5 or 6 heats. And then he went to purple, and I think I was on blue because I think I was following him. And his car, for some reason, just kind of launched. I mean, it just went straight. Like, it's almost like I thought he like tried to run the finger punch, like. So, but the car just shot straight up and hit the wall and kind of tweaked it a little bit, slowed him down a little bit. And then in F1, when his car did that, I mean, it destroyed it. I mean, he hit that thing like.
Well, didn't Uncle Bob break a guide?
Uncle Bob launched coming out of the bank on red and snapped a guide.
Yeah, because I remember watching someone I think was going live or had a recording of that.
Yeah, because
and I hear pow, and you see Uncle Bob. Yeah. Well, my fun's done.
Well,
all right.
Well, Boogie was videotaping that, and I didn't know. I didn't know he was videotaping. And a couple of days later, I seen it on Facebook. But we're racing, and all of a sudden you hear that big bang.
Yeah.
And it's a track call, and I remember because I was on orange and Eric was on blue. It was the last heat of the race. And Eric said something like, Jesus, that was a hard hit. And I said, yep, guide flag's broke. And he goes, oh, yeah, I can see the washer sitting right next to the car. I said, yeah, that'd be your first guess. I'm like, Uncle Bob, your guide's broke.
Yeah.
So.
Is he coming to Chicago?
No.
No.
Yeah, because in F1 I had the same problem on purple that Frankie did, and after 3 times I yelled track, and the braid was frayed a little bit, and I flattened it and ran something to the slot, and there was nothing in the slot. So then power came back on. I ran 2 laps, and it was fine. And the 3rd lap it took off again, and I'm like, okay, I got to go slow over there. And then I went to black and had the same friggin' problem on black. And but no one else had the problem. So obviously
something with the chassis.
My guide spacing was different than theirs, or maybe my car was just a little bit faster than theirs through there, and it was fast enough to cause a problem. But yeah, so anyway, I had to take it easy on purple and black, and lost the lead to Eric, and Eric had lane advantage over me the last 3 heats, and I wasn't going to make it up on him, unless he had problems, and he didn't have any problems. So, and all the racing was pretty clean. I mean, I think the last time we raced it downriver, it was just like hammer fest.
How good at Twin Peaks?
Jeremy and Eric did on Friday night, but
gotcha.
Me and Bob went back to the hotel, and I thought I had to mount some bodies, but I had bodies mounted, but I had to make sure that they fit the car right and they weren't hitting the guide flag and all that stuff, and got there and it's like, oh, cool, I don't have to mount any bodies. So my Twin Peaks time was sitting in the hotel room watching something.
Married with Children?
No.
Ridiculousness?
I don't remember what was on, but I know when it was time to go to bed, then the ARCA race was on from Kansas. So I watched, the first 15 laps of that. And so, yeah.
Good times.
Good times. Yeah. It was kind of, okay, so here's one for you. So I had 6 Can-Am cars, and I put them all on the track, and they all went around. I mean, it was all these all go around good. So it's kind of come down, okay, now I got to. But then, a couple of, 3 of the cars, the motors weren't as good as the motors in the other cars. So it's okay, we'll take those motors out and put other motors in. And so that finally came down to okay, I'm going to run this car. This is my backup car. And I'd run everything with a small hub JK Wonder tire. And I thought everything was good. And then Bob's I tried them Alpha Soft Wonder. He goes they're really good. That's what I'm running on my car. And his car was really good too. I mean, his car was super fast. So I'm okay. So he gave me a pair, and I put them on the car I think I'm going to race. And that car did not like those tires. So I put them on the backup car, and the backup car loved those tires. So I'm okay, now I'm going to do a new set of JK Small Hub Wonder for this car.
Right.
Went out, and that car was like it was probably a tenth faster on new tires. And so let's put these on the backup car. Well, the backup car hated the JK. I mean, it was like two identical cars, rail wise.
Right.
One loved the softer tire and hated the harder tire, and the other car.
Well, that's just like with me up there at Uncle Charlie's, 2 weeks ago or so.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself on my 4-inch NASCAR, I was like, there's no way this car is going to take a hard tire. I was like, I'll try it.
Right.
Tried it. And then I'm thinking for like L&P, I should be able to run a hard tire because of the downforce. Tried it. Loose. I went softer, hooked it back up. I was like, whatever.
Yep.
Same chassis.
Tires.
Just change the body. Just change the body.
Always talk about tires, but man, tires are like everything.
Or it's like Charles always laughs at me and Bobby because he's like, y'all are always cutting bodies out. I'm like, move that thing around. You know? Yeah, what was it he said? He's like, either one of y'all's true in tires or one of y'all's cutting bodies. He's like, every time I walk over here, you know, he's like, y'all are always doing something.
Yep.
You want to be competitive or do decent, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's one thing I didn't like about racing big cars is whenever they said, oh, the car is good, we're just going to leave it. And it's like, there's something we can do, you know? You look out there and everyone else is working on their stuff. And it's like, yeah, we could be working on our stuff.
Right.
You know? I mean, if it was just something as simple as nut and bolting it, you know what I mean? Just to double check.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, that's all I got.
Yep.
So, I think secret word for the show will be Eagle.
I like it.
With the new Eagle motors from Mid-America. So, Eagle is the secret word of the show. And until next week, if you're going racing, have fun, be safe. We'll be back next weekend for episode 116. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No. Ready to go racing.
Okay. Well, until next week, have fun.